CVM is the way forward because competition can copy your products in a day's time. Execution cannot be copied. That is your people, your resources, and how passionately you do certain things. Your high value customer and high profile customers are two different sets. I just elaborated a little.
Welcome to CVM Stories, the podcast on customer value management. Together, we explore how companies can be more successful and the customers happier through the use of latest customer value management techniques. Learn key commercial and analytical insights from telecoms, retail, finance, and other industries that drive CVM forward.
Hi, I'm your host, Egidius. Today, our guest is Amit Khanna, a visionary marketer who has worked in CVM roles across many countries, including India, Tanzania, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, South Africa, and more. He will share his secrets on how to build a successful inbound marketing strategy. So, let's dive in. Amit, thank you for joining us today. It's a pleasure to have you here. Amit, I have had a lot of guests who have like 20 years experience in telecom marketing, etc. But I have never had a person who works in CVM and who did CVM in like 5 different countries. India, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, South Africa, and
now I'm here. I worked in Iraq as well. So, no, but thank you for having me for this conversation. See, I worked in different continents, as you rightly said. I worked in different places. And luckily that, I got an opportunity to launch CVM in some of the places. So I'm glad that, I was part of those teams and create some sort of a success story, right, during my tenure.
Mm-hmm. So what would be your insights, like how CVM challenges are the same and different through different countries,
See, I would say it's different because customer behavior is different. The psychology is very different. But at the end of the day, it also depends that whether you are a challenger operator or you are in a leadership position. So if you are in a leadership position, you have a great network. I think there's a different strategy for us to engage with customers. Customers see you differently. But if you're a challenger, again, I see as a CVM, there is an opportunity. There is always an opportunity for a CVM team to engage with our customers. So, yeah, different places, different challenges, but it's exciting.
Okay. I thought that you will answer, CVM is everywhere the same. But it's not.
No, it's not. It's not. No. See, you cannot replicate, things that you have done it in different places. Yes, you can bring your thought process right together, but you need to acclimatize also yourself with the atmosphere, with the culture of the organization. I think the culture of the place. Like if you look at now my current location, like I'm in Abidjan, it's a French speaking country. Everyone speaks French. Yes, I worked in Arabic speaking countries as well, but here French is quite dominating. So everything is in French. The mindset is a bit different. So then accordingly, you need to maintain the pace and you need to work along with them into this journey.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that perfectly makes sense. Amit, when we talked with you the first time, you said that kind of, and I asked, what is your passion, in CVM? And you instantly mentioned inbound marketing, and we haven't covered this topic yet.
Yeah.
So I want to deep dive today into this topic and ask you like 1,000 different questions. But before we dive deep, my first question is, what is the difference between inbound marketing and outbound marketing, and how do they work together? Because kind of, for me, it seems they are very different. I would like to hear your perspective on that.
Okay. So no, thanks for this question. Right. See, the way I look at this one, first let's talk about the outbound marketing. See, outbound marketing to me, it's a very traditional way of doing or reaching out to our customers. It's a very old school that, we are sending messages to customers and we expect them to react in terms of our offerings. But if you look at the with the pace in which, the customers interact, I would say inbound gives a flexibility to the customers to interact with the operator. So to me, the inbound marketing is all about creating personalization and seamless customer experience. So I would say it's a big difference when it comes to inbound and outbound. On inbound, there are different channels. We can talk about, these days in more mature markets, people talk about, mobile application. They in the digital world, people are more hooked on the mobile application rather than using the old traditional SMSs. This is where I see the difference between inbound and the outbound marketing.
And here I struggle with some definitions. If you can help me, okay? When we talk about outbound, kind of we say, okay, this is kind of upsell campaign, and and every activity we usually call a campaign. We send something to the customers, expect some conversions, and so on.
Yeah.
And from the inbound perspective, we do a lot of activities, but how can we call them? Are they still campaigns or are they something else,
Correct. So see, when it comes to the outbound marketing, right? See, we decide when to target customers without even knowing, the customer psyche as well. Is it something customer can afford? Because see, people cannot afford throughout the month, right? There is a specific time of the month when people shop around for their mobile need. But when it comes to inbound marketing is a kind of a destination that we create for customers where they can actually shop. It's like, you're visiting a mall, you're visiting a place, and you're giving customer a choice, right? Or it's a kind of a, when you go for a buffet, there is you always have the preferences, right, in terms of, what to eat, when to eat, and what not to eat when it comes to a buffet, right? So we are giving in the inbound, we are giving customer a choice to choose, whatever they like in terms of, their needs, the mobile need.
So it's more like being always ready to serve the customer with whatever need customer has at that moment, or is it close to
Yeah.
your definition?
So see, we should always, have a different type of propositions. It all depends upon the company strategy. It depends upon the customer need as well. If the company strategy is to increase, I would say, the data penetration, because data is the growth engine for most of the telecom operators these days, right? Everybody wants to be digitally connected, right, with our customers, as well as that, increase the data consumption. Now, the opportunity is that, on the inbound, right, you can place multiple offers. You can place, multiple products. Depends that, how you will design it. And but when it comes to outbound, there is a limit that, we can send probably one message or two messages in a day. But at times it's very annoying as well. Your high value customers don't want to contact you more often. So hence, I would say inbound is much more flexible and much more meaningful compared to the outbound marketing.
So I think let's talk a bit about how to create this amazing inbound marketing experience. So most of the telcos have many inbound channels, from customer service, point of sale, USSD, mobile app. It's how do you build this inbound experience in all
So
these
yeah,
channels?
see, this is very interesting, right? Okay, now, as a marketeer, right, the way I look at things, there are technically five pillars to build, a proper inbound solution, or we can call it proper inbound platform for our customers to shop around. Number one, as we always talk about that, analytics is key, right? When we talk about CVM, we cannot do CVM without proper analytics. Now, if you look at the as an operator, it depends on the maturity of the operator. There are operators who are only into the CBU business, which is consumer business unit. There are who are into enterprise business as well. There are operators which also have, they also have, the fintech solution. But at the end of the day, right, it's one market, right, and it's the same customer, right, who's buying your different product and propositions. So for me, uh, it's very important that we collect all the information into one place, and we analyze customer behavior, right? We look at the different stages of customer life cycle as well, and then act accordingly. So
Mhm.
bringing information together from different, I would say, business units is the key. Some places we call it recommendation engine. There are other places we call it decision engine, right? But it's very important that our data is complete, data is accurate, so that we can actually provide the best possible, I would say, the products and the services to our consumers.
Mhm. And from the data and analytics perspective, what are the key aspects you would say that are most important to take in mind when building this inbound?
Okay. See, collecting data points from various business units, such as consumer, enterprise, fintech, digital, are the initial step in creating the analytical layer for a telecom company or a telecom operator. We need to develop a comprehensive plan to capitalize on the various business opportunities. And I adhere to a rule which is 80-20. Your
Mhm.
20% consumers generate 80% of the revenue. And we, as a CVM experts, right, CVM people, we believe that there is still an opportunity lying with the 80% of the consumers, right, because they just contribute 20% to the business. And I'm sure when we talk about these consumers, are they with competition or they are elsewhere? So how can we entice those customers, first of all, to understand the behavior of the customer, the need of the customer, and this can be done through a proper analytics. So if we can identify additional, I used to say that additional 5% opportunity in our business, I think that will be a big contribution to the overall enterprise, or to the overall telecom operator.
So you basically search for the data points that would signal the opportunity for growth. Yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm. Okay. So what are other components besides the data and analytical engine?
So see, we spoke about data. I think we can go further deep into data. Uh, it's not about that, we just need to look at customer behavior, but we also need to look at, the other opportunities as well. We need to look at the potential of a customer. Is there a way that we can actually identify that customer is a single SIM user or is a dual SIM user, right? There are ways that we can actually find an opportunity, right, and ensure that if there is a wallet share, how can we improve our share of wallet with competition? So if the total spend as a consumer is $100, right, as a
Mhm.
consumer, there are chances that consumer is using two different SIM cards, and with us the consumer is only spending 30, and the remainder 70 is being spent with the another operator. How can we
Mhm.
ensure that we can shift the usage, right, or the consumption from the other operator to us? And there are ways, there are, I would say, analytical tools. There are people in the market, right, who can
Mhm.
analyze it and identify those set of customers. That can be done. Now your question is more toward that, what are the other components? So analytics for me is the key, is the starting point, is the foundation for anything that we do as a CVM unit. The
Mhm.
another one depends upon the different enterprises within the organization, right? We also need to look at that, what do we have to offer to our customers? What are the different, value propositions that we have, right, within the enterprise, and that we can actually offer to the customers, right? What is industry doing? right? We cannot ignore
Mhm.
industry. We need to look at that, what is other mobile operators doing to engage our customers. It could be device deal at times, in some of the mature markets. I have seen that, people are more interested buying a product with a device. Then they stay hooked on with the operator for a couple of years because they are more excited. They pay less on a monthly basis, but they get the services as well as they get some fancy device as well, right? So
Mhm.
that is the second part, right? In terms of I'm talking about precisely, how can we ensure there's a proper offer catalog, right?
Mhm.
When I'm talking about the offer catalog, I'm emphasizing more towards creating different offers from different enterprises. It could be a fintech business, it could be an enterprise business or a consumer business.
Mhm.
So that's also important. Do you want me
Uh,
to touch on other components as well?
yeah, I think maybe let's go through the all components that you have in mind, and then we will dive deep into each of those later, so that we would
Okay.
have the full framework in our
Yeah.
mind.
See, the another one, the third pillar that I'm talking about, that is related to contextual marketing. It's very important that when we will target our consumers, it's very important. It depends upon the time of the week, time of the day, right? And we should always target our consumers when they are having some sort of an activity with us, when they are engaging with
Mhm.
us. So if I would know that you and me are on a mobile call and you terminate the call, just after terminating the call, there's an opportunity for a CVM team, right, to promote something. Because I know that, maybe 2 minutes ago, right, you were with your mobile, you're using your mobile. So we call it contextual marketing. If you're using, say, for example, you're watching something on YouTube, and we see that your data got exhausted, you burned your data, the bundle that you had, and you just left with 20% of the bundle which is left now. Again, there is an opportunity for us to upsell something, right, as a consumer. So that we call it more of an contextual marketing. If you, or if there is a customer who's engaging with us on an app, there are notifications these days in the system that we can actually use it. And as and when the customer is using our app, for there's an opportunity for us to pop up a message on the app itself, so that it's we can make it more relevant, right, when it comes to. So contextual marketing again is the key when it comes
Mhm.
to reaching out our customers or
Yeah.
approaching our customers.
Amit, could you give some examples of, let's say, triggers or the context elements that you saw work like magic, but they were not obvious, because kind of end of balance or end of data bucket, these are the
Yeah.
obvious that everybody use, but spoil us some secrets, here.
See, so we can talk about few, right? I think, mm, again, if I'm going back in history, right, we used to use end of call notification. So I gave you an example on mobile termination. When the call is terminated, there's an opportunity for us to sell a voice pack to a customer because the customer is using
Mhm.
voice. But data, again, we can talk about data, right? If somebody is, say, for example, watching maybe a football game, right, on YouTube or maybe on a live TV, and the customer consumes the entire data or reaches a different threshold, right, to the pack, right, because we create some sort of a thresholds as and when the consumer reaches 80% of the threshold, is there an opportunity for the CVM team, right, to promote something? So what do we do is, because this is all linked here. So see, we spoke about the algorithm. We spoke about the
Mhm.
decision engine. For me, the brain and the work that we have done in terms of analytics is already sitting over there, right? We have already
Mhm.
done our analysis. Now what we see is that this customer is using a data, right? Data as a service, and he has exhausted 80% of it. there's an opportunity for us to use a real-time trigger, real-time marketing trigger, and
Mhm.
link it back with the analytics and see what offer is mapped to the customer, right? And push that offer to the consumer, right? Whatever is
Mhm.
placed on that one. So we don't need to reinvent the wheel because analytics is being done, right? We with
Mhm.
different, I would say, slices and dices, we have already reached to a point that these are the two, three different, I would say, proposition that customer might be interested in. So
Mhm.
algorithm is done, offer catalog is being created. Now I'm coming to the contextual marketing. As and
Mhm.
when the customer is engaging with us, there's an opportunity for us, right, to reach out to the customer at the right time, because timing is also important here. So this is where I'm actually going with the contextual marketing.
So do I understand correctly that from analytics perspective and kind of offer catalog and context, you
Yeah.
basically treat this as a build those at once, meaning, for example, if you have the data context, meaning customers may run out of data balance, the package might expire, etc.
Yeah.
For all these contexts, you build the algorithms that are kind of have the recommendations already in place, and you are just waiting until the customer falls into specific context to kind of communicate this
You're right.
offer.
You're right. Because see, consumer behavior is not changing overnight. It
Mhm.
takes time. We have already considered a consumer behavior in our analytics, right? In terms of, when the consumer engage with a mobile operator, like, how does it and how does the customer engage, and what different type of products the customer might be interested in. So, what do we do with the offer catalog? When we talk about the offer catalog, we
Mhm.
try to place offers that customer might be interested in, but at the
Mhm.
same time, since it is an inbound, it's customer is approaching, or I would say reaching out to us as per his or her convenience, right? Because it's an
Mhm.
inbound platform. It could be USSD, it could be a mobile app, and consumer can maybe browse our offers maybe at midnight, right? We are
Mhm.
giving that kind of a flexibility to the consumer. So that's why I'm saying
Mhm.
that it's a kind of a destination that we create where the customer can actually see all the personalized offers, right, which is tailor
Mhm.
made for them, right? So yeah, so I think just to respond to your question, that everything is being done, we are just trying to contextualize it when to
Mhm.
target customer with an offer.
Okay. Are there other elements in the framework?
Yeah. So see, then the next one, again, that is my favorite as well, in terms of different channels. Okay. Now, when we talk about channels, what do we mean by channels here? So, yes, we talk about USSD. It depends that you are in the emerging markets, you are in the more mature market, right? What works in those specific markets, right? I will give you an example of Canada. Canada
Mhm.
is more mature market. I have seen people using mobile application, mostly mobile application. Majority of the customers are on application. But when it comes to Africa, or yeah,
Mhm.
Africa, we can take an example of Africa. Africa right now, large part of customers are on USSD, right? Again, it's an inbound
Okay.
platform. Yes, we are maturing towards taking our customers to the application as well. So channel also plays a very important role. But when it comes to
Mhm.
channel, I just wanted to highlight few more things here. So yes, at times, when we launch a product, we try to create a separate channel for a customer, right? And then we start
Mhm.
pushing those offers and promotion on that particular channel. My recommendation is, let's see that where the customers are, to which different channels they interact most with us as an operator. It could be a fintech solution that every day our x million customers try to check things on fintech. There is an
Mhm.
opportunity for us that to place an offer on the fintech platform, and you create a link through an API, right? A link between fintech and the consumer business, so that
Mhm.
we don't need to confuse customers. It's all the backend activity that we will do, but the brain will sit with the analytical tool. The offer mapping is done. Now, what is important is that where we will place our offers. It could be
Mhm.
application as well, mobile application as well. So I'm saying we call it that we should do fishing with the fishes are. So I would say place your offers, personalized offers, at a place where you will see the maximum traffic when it comes to your consumers.
Mhm. And how do you make a call? Which are the most important channels? So maybe number one is like predefined based on market, but what is number two and number three?
Okay, so that's a very good one, right? So we can actually bring in the channel analytics as well. We can profile our consumers, seeing that which one is their favorite channel,
Mhm.
right? When I interact with our consumer, or when the consumer interacts with us, when they buy products and services, do they buy services from a USSD, or they
Mhm.
buy offer from a mobile application? My recommendation is to place your offers on the same channel, right, from the where they buy their offers. Let's not try to divert customer from one channel to the another. We want our customers to enjoy our services. So
Mhm.
you understood, right? I think
Yeah,
we
yeah.
should.
So you don't recommend to change customers' behavior because changing the behavior is a painful operation. Yeah.
It is. It is. This is what my learning is in terms of channel analytics.
Mhm.
Right? We have done it in a couple of places, right? But it all depends upon the maturity of the operation, right? If
Mhm.
the CVM team is mature, right, we have all the pieces of the puzzle at one place, right? Then we can think about creating more opportunities, and how can we act more maturely with the operator,
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
as an operator, if I'll put it that way.
I think it's clear. And you said you have five. So you mentioned four now,
So see,
like analytics, offer catalog, contextual marketing channels, and
and the last one that is internal for us in terms of performance measuring. Anything that we do, if we can actually analyze it, I think that would be really good, right? It's important, it's pivotal, right? That anything that we do as a CVM function, is it profitable for us or not? it's
Mhm.
it's very important for us to measure, right, and on a
Mhm.
regular intervals. So to me, right, and I'm sure for as a marketer as well, it's very important for us to understand that what is working for us, what is not working for us.
Mhm.
So this is how I see, so measurement is the key when it comes to a CVM function.
Mhm.
So these are the five pillars that I have touched upon, right, when it comes to the overall the inbound solution.
If you are interested in customer value management, check out our customer value management body of knowledge. CVM Book is a comprehensive guide for CVM professionals offering tips, tools, and best practices to help you in your job. Visit cvmbook.com for more.
And I have several extremely painful questions,
Yes,
if you are ready to answer them.
please, please.
So many telcos
Yeah,
suffer from omni-channel marketing. Kind of,
yeah.
it's very difficult to do a proper omni-channel. Yeah, so we identified which channels customer prefer.
Mhm,
Customer comes into one channel and everything is fine if
mhm,
customer comes only to a single channel. But when the outbound marketing kicks
mhm,
in and
mhm,
the customer comes into two channels,
mhm,
then all sorts of problems happen. So my question is, how do you solve the issue when uh, you push a campaign to telemarketing, which is calling the customer and offering something, but at the same time, customer just dropped into the store and already purchased a new device, and 10 minutes later the telemarketing is calling you with the same offer, you know?
So, this is very
How do you
interesting.
solve that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So again, this is very interesting. See, when you're talking about the omni-channel experience, right? So
Mhm.
there's omni-channel, there is multi-channel. But your question is that, Amit, what's happening in the market is that, we send message to a customer, but our other touch points are not aware about that offer that we're talking
Mhm.
about. Okay.
Yes.
So what we have done in some of the places, I might not be 100% accurate in my response, but what we have done in other places that, we created a view, right, especially for all our touch points, that, if
Mhm.
we send a communication to our customers, they would see in one of their CRM tools that, these
Mhm.
are the communication sent to the customer, these are the active offers for the consumer, and
Mhm.
this is what the consumer can buy. Same
Mhm.
thing that we spoke about, earlier in terms of channel. CRM tool or our touch point is one of the, I would say, important channel. See,
Mhm.
anybody who's visiting our store is just an example.
Mhm.
Anybody who's contacting us at our contact center is a big
Mhm.
opportunity for us to provide the best available services and to provide the best available products that we might have. So I think this is what I can say. So create
Mhm.
a view which is, I would say, uniform across the
Mhm.
channel.
Mhm.
Create that view. Yeah. So the same offer probably can sit on USSD. It can sit
Mhm.
on the app. Maybe the other touch points that if you do in visit store, you contact the call center. Everybody should have the similar offer or the same offer.
From your experience, because you worked in now probably six different telcos, or seven, from what I remember, maybe seven. Have you seen, let's say, a team which was able to solve that? All the offers would be updated in real time, and all the channels are like 100% aligned, and so on. If you go to the web and purchase something, the offer is automatically eliminated from telemarketing, and telemarketing stops calling with those offers. And the email follow-up comes that this no offer is no longer available, etc. Have you seen this implemented to top level, or
Yeah.
it is a struggle for
No,
for
no.
for, for the teams?
So I had this, I would say, challenge in one of my operators. What we have seen is that, we were updating our offers very frequently, right? It was
Mm-hmm.
getting updated almost every day. And then we put, or I would say, place certain rules that, if your recharge balance is less than X dollars, that,
Mm-hmm.
we will place this offer. And if your balance is more than X dollar, it's a different offer. So I will tell you the
Mm-hmm.
challenge that we had, right? I think it's on the same line that you are talking about. The consumers saw the offer before recharging,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they see the offer on the USSD on the app, and
Mm-hmm.
customer is interested now to buy this offer. Hence, customer, recharge with one of the digital channels. The moment
Mm-hmm.
customer recharged, the offer disappeared because we changed
Yes.
the rule, right? The offer disappeared, and this shows the kind of, the transparency. So what we did in that case, we decided not to change our offers more often, right? We decided to change offers on a weekly basis, at times on a monthly basis. It depends upon the type of the offer that we will promote to the consumers. Because as I said, consumer behavior is not changing every day. It takes some time. So why are we changing our offers every day? And if you see that, consumer bought a weekly bundle and next day morning we change the offer, does it make any relevance? It does not make any relevance, right? So what is
Mm-hmm.
important is we need to look at the potential of a consumer. What is his or her maximum appetite on the mobile spend, and we cannot keep on stretching customers, right, every day. So, yeah, so disappearing offers, we have experienced it, we
Mm-hmm.
fixed it, and then again we saw that our revenue started moving up. So that was
Mhm.
the that was quite promising and quite positive.
So I totally buy this part of, when customer stops understanding what is happening. I just had an offer, now it's gone,
Um,
what's happening, with that part. What are important aspects from customer experience point of view? Uh, uh, for example, I don't know, customer opens the app, customer sees that he doesn't like this offer, he wants to dismiss it, etc. Kind of, how do you build this experience there? It's like, are
okay.
there other aspects when customers express that they don't want to buy something, etc.?
This is again a very good question, right? I have
Mm-hmm.
experienced this thing personally with one of the operators in UAE, which is Dubai.
Mm-hmm.
And what we have seen is that my visitors, the number
Mm-hmm.
of visitors to my platform is, say for example, around 20 million, right? The
Mm-hmm.
20 million, but the people who are responding to the offer is is way less than 20 million, is less than 50%. So the question is that consumers are visiting us, they might not be liking our offers.
Mm-hmm.
So people who are not buying the offers but visiting us regularly, we build an assumption that probably we need to promote something different for the
Mm-hmm.
consumer. At times, and this is a very important one, and I always give this example to my teams as well. See, behavior is one, it's very
Mm-hmm.
important, but we also need to look at the profile of the customer as well. And I will give you maybe a couple of examples. And one of my example is that if you look at the consumers who are using, I would say, the fancy devices, right? It could be an
Mm-hmm.
iPhone, it could be an expensive Samsung phone, but their consumption is very low. They use
Mm-hmm.
maybe 200 megs of data, 200
Mm-hmm.
megabytes of data. But
Yes.
why is it so? I think we need to understand that why are they using less. See, the conversation here is they are using less because they are using Wi-Fi. They
Mm-hmm.
have alternatives. They use Wi-Fi. They use competition services to use services. So if somebody is using maybe a $2,000 device, and if we are promoting only basis customer behavior with us, which is only the
Mm-hmm.
usage part,
Mm-hmm.
maybe we are not able to understand our consumer properly. So that particular customer, if we can actually have something maybe a $20, $30 offer rather than promoting at $1 or $2, right? 20,
Mm-hmm.
$30, and give something exciting. Give them maybe 5 gig data, 10 GB data, right? So we need to understand, right? So this can only be done through proper analytics. I think the point that you're making, I've experienced it, but again with a different operator, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I hope I've answered your question.
Um, yeah, I think you answer it like in an unexpected way,
Okay.
because kind of what I take out of you is like, okay, you really need to react on how customer is reacting to your offers
Hmm.
from one perspective, and then dig really deep of why don't they, for example, buy something if the context shows otherwise. If the context shows that if you have a really good device, you should use a tremendous amount of data, yeah, and it's not happening. So I think it's a very interesting insight.
So we do market research as well. There are so many ways to
Mhm.
do it. I was just sharing my experience, how I felt, right, when
Mhm.
we worked with one of the operators in Middle East.
Are there any other aspects in the inbound marketing space where which we did not cover that you would say we need to put this in, for people to learn about it?
Yeah. So see, the way I look at, CVM, right? To
Mm-hmm.
me, CVM is the way forward. because the margins are very slim, right? As an operator, the margins are very slim. Competition can copy your products and services, I would say, in a day's time. Thing which is very important is execution. Execution cannot be copied. That is your people, your resources, and how how passionately you do certain things. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of my experience is, and I told you about the 80-20 rule, the 80% consumer only contribute 20% of the revenue. Is there a way that we reach out to our customer or contact our customers on the ATL platform as well? When I'm talking about ATL, I'm talking about the
Mm-hmm.
channels which are meant for selling open market offers. And is there a way we can actually try to tailor made, you know, our offers only for those customers that
Mm-hmm.
whose contribution is way too less as compared to the rest of the base, right? So there are ways to do it, right? I have done it with two operators so far, right? And we have really seen good results. The whole idea is,
So the question, how?
yeah. So this is what, see, again, it's going back to the analytics, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I'm talking about the inbound platform, one platform I'm talking about dedicated, right, from a CVM purpose, right? You
Mm-hmm.
create a USD code, you create, I would say, you create a space in your mobile app where you will sell your, personalized offers. But at the same time, what I mentioned earlier as well, that there are consumers who are already interacting with us, and that is on your ATL platform. I'm talking about different USSD code, if I'll put it, in a very precise way, right? So if
Mm-hmm.
there is a specific USSD code which is meant for your open market offers, how can we ensure all those customers whose contribution to the overall business is less, how can we place a tailor-made personalized offer for customers at the top, right, for
Mm-hmm.
those consumers? And
Yeah.
I have seen it working, right? Again, we are not expecting the entire base to react. We are just expecting 5% of the consumers to react. And how can we ensure that we scale gradually this
Mm-hmm.
approach? We analyze it, we test it, and then again, we scale it.
As I understand, these kind of 80% of those customers, you need to change their behavior, and as we mentioned in the beginning, the change of behavior is very slow in general. Yeah.
Yes, this is what my experience is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Behavior won't change overnight, right? If somebody is
Mm-hmm.
using an iPhone device, he's using an iPhone device, right?
Yeah.
They won't change, to a Samsung overnight, right? It will take
Mm-hmm.
some time.
There's nothing that would make me change iPhone device.
Exactly, right? So because see, iPhone users or the iOS users, they hooked on to iOS for some
Mm-hmm.
time. Android people love
Yes.
Android. They stay
Yes.
hooked on Android, right? And depend that you're using low end device, high end device, right? High end consumers only use the high end phones. So it's a
Mm-hmm.
consumer behavior. One important thing, since we are talking, right? Your high value customer and high profile customers are two different sets.
Mm-hmm.
And if I just elaborate it a little, it
Mm-hmm.
depends that, I can give you an example, right? In terms of, say, for example, there's an Uber services, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you might see that, the Uber drivers, they use mobile phone more often. But are those customers high value consumers or they high profile customers? So we need to differentiate it, right? And we need to see that it's not necessarily that the high value customers are your high profile customers. They're two different things. So I think if you can classify that as well into our segmentation, that would also help. But it depends upon the maturity of your data, right?
Mm-hmm.
The data that you have been using it, right, for your analytics.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Amit, everything sounds really inspiring and exciting.
I hope I
And
have
we,
answered most of your questions.
Yeah, it's like it's very interesting, and some of the answers were very unexpected for me. So it's really, really interesting, and I learned a lot throughout the inbound
So thank
marketing part. But I still have three questions for you that we ask
you. Please go ahead. Yeah.
every guest. So you have a very rich career, and could you share your proudest moment of your career with us?
Okay. See, there are times that, okay, I started my career from India. India was a more mature market, maybe when I started. You cannot move the needle, right, when it comes to, entering into a more mature market. But I remember when I traveled to Tanzania, that was my first assignment. And during that time, that, the changes that we deployed, right, and especially, in a foreign land, after, working x number of years in India, working in Tanzania, which is very different for me since it was my first assignment. And very little things that we did in Tanzania really helped us, improving business from by around 20% in just couple of months time.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh my
And
God.
that got recognized, that got recognized, at a group level in Etisalat group. And then they invited us, to work for them in the group office. So this is how, the transition happened, right, for me working in an opco, right, and moving to a group role. That is one thing which I'm very proud of, uh, for my career. There are other examples as well, right? I think some
I
of the
hope you got a good bonus for improving the business by 20%, you know?
yeah, yeah. So see, my bonus was that, moving from India to Tanzania and from Tanzania to Middle East, right?
Mhm.
So I
Ah,
spent
okay.
some time in Middle East. It's a very different experience, right?
Mhm.
Working for them. So yeah, it was very exciting, right? So I'm being very, I feel proud. I think some of the things that we have done in the past few years.
At the same time, you know, next to those proud moments, every customer value manager has its failure times. Um, could you share your horror story, you know?
Oh, when you're talking the horror story,
Yes.
okay, yeah, yeah. At times, it's nothing specific. At times, I won't say the horror story. Okay, I work with three, four different operators. So with couple of operators, right? For me, I just need to start it from the scratch. Okay, when you do things starting from the scratch is much easier, right? Because it's like it's a plain board. You can write whatever you wanted to write. You can scribble on that one. But if you work with a little mature I would say operator, and you try to change things, it's not easy, right? Because it's already embedded with them. They're already there into the system. They have their own style of working. Now you come from outside with a different thought process, right? And you try to change, right? So when you try to change and people are resistant, right, in the beginning, and it takes some time, right? You need to convince, you need to win them first, and then you can recommend changes. So I won't say it's a horror story, but I found that one little challenging for me. And when you work in different environments, different countries, different cultures, it's inevitable, right? We know that, okay, it's expected that, it's possible. So I, at the same time, I feel proud as well that, I know how to deal and how to manage, things in different parts of the world.
Mhm. Yeah, I totally understand you because it's a cultural package and then legacy package and then you know the CVM context package. It's a big scope to handle.
Yes.
And for the fellow customer value managers, could you recommend some learning methods on how to become a great customer value manager? Whether
Okay.
it would be a, yeah.
So see, the most important point that I discussed with the teams that I work with, and uh, uh, so for me, the most important thing is we need to look at business holistically. Don't think only CVM. CVM has a role to play, but at the end of the day, you need to act like a CCU. You are an entrepreneur, right, in the business. So we need to ensure that we contribute to the top line numbers. Nobody is interested that how your campaign is performing, right, at a as you move up the ladder, right, when you interact with people at a senior level. So nobody is interested. People are more interested your contribution, or I would say the CVM contribution to the overall business. If my top line number is going up, it's performing well, that means we are contributing it. But if the top line number is going down and you're doing amazingly well, to me, I think that is when we need to revisit our thoughts. We need to revisit the way we operate. So the way I look at things, yes, I was head of CVM. I'm consulting for CVM, right? But what is most important is that we need to look at the overall business growth, not specifically to your domain. That is the key thing.
Okay, so you need to think as a CEO, basically.
CEO, or we can call it CCO, right? Maybe one step low,
CCO, yeah.
because as a CEO, right, you have other responsibilities as well when it comes to finance, when it comes to network, and other challenges as well. But CCO role is more into sales and marketing, right?
Yeah.
So as a marketeer, we need to think marketing, that how can I contribute best to the business.
And I have one bonus question.
Please.
We are on a mission on to making customer value managers famous, because it's a very niche role, but very important role in the organization. And usually nobody knows about them too much. My question is, how can we make these CVM guys more famous in the world and in the organizations?
See, when it comes to, yeah, so it's a very important one as well, right? See, when we are talking about customer value manager, okay, there are two aspects to this one. One is the marketing side of it, second, the technical side of it. And because I had a team in the past, that I had a dedicated person for development, dedicated team for analytics, and dedicated team for managing the marketing activities as well. It's very important. Marketing people have their own carriage, right? Own challenges, that they're looking for a growth on month basis. And as a CVM manager, how come that person can actually help you know the marketing manager to achieve their targets? This can be done with two things, right? One is we need to again go back and analyze the opportunities in the business. Second is that building capabilities. Building capabilities is for a long term, from an aspect, right? If you build capabilities, I think most of these things that we spoke today, it cannot be delivered, right, if we don't have capabilities in place, right? So when we talk about inbound marketing, it sounds that everything is plug and play. Nothing is plug and play. It's all about that building capabilities, and there are operators where we took 3 to 4 years to reach to a certain maturity, right? So as a marketing manager, he need to play or wear different hats. At times the marketing manager need to wear a hat of a marketeer. At times he need to think as a technical expert as well. At times the analytical expert. So as a whole, at the end of the day, everybody's mission is to improve the overall the business goal, right? The business.
So thank you, Amit. It was a very interesting and exciting conversation.
CVM Stories is produced by Exacaster. We help companies take their customer value management to the next level. To stay updated on our latest episodes, subscribe to the podcast or sign up for an email newsletter at exacaster.com/CVM Stories.